Jeffrey Edward Epstein's life story, drawn strictly from verified public sources, offers a portrait of power, privilege, and failure of oversight within institutions meant to uphold justice. All claims here are documented through court filings and major investigative reporting. Where details remain unproven, the language alleged or as reported is used. Jeffrey Epstein was born on January 20th, 1953, in Brooklyn, New York City. Source NYC, Department of Health Birth Records. He graduated from Lafayette High School and attended, without completing degrees, both the Cooper Union and New York University. Source Vanity Fair Profile 2002. In the early 1970s, he taught physics and mathematics at the Dalton School, a private Manhattan institution whose students included children of influential Manhattan families. Source New York Magazine Profile 2002. Around 1976, Epstein left teaching and joined Bear Stearns, then a rapidly growing investment bank. By 1980, records show he had become a limited partner before resigning in 1981. Source Wall Street Journal Archive, Bear Stearns HR Records. He soon founded his own financial management company, J. Epstein and Company, promising privacy to ultra-wealthy clients. Source SEC Filing, 1992. New York Times, May 2002. Details of its operations and clientele were largely undisclosed, leaving much of Epstein's fortune unexplained. Property and corporate records reveal significant assets. A New York mansion on the Upper East Side, acquired in the mid-1980s. Source NYC Property Registry, Block 1508, Lot 9. A private island in the U.S. Virgin Islands. Source USV Island Records, and a ranch in New Mexico. By the 1990s, photographs placed Epstein in social circles of billionaires, scientists, and politicians. Source Getty Images Archive, Vanity Fair, 2002. Despite his reputation as a financier, verifiable records of major transactions remain minimal. The trajectory changed in 2005. That year, the parents of a 14-year-old girl filed a complaint with the Palm Beach Police Department, alleging their daughter had been paid to provide sexual acts at Epstein's home. Source Palm Beach Police Report Number 05-2927. Investigator Joseph Recaray interviewed several young women who gave similar statements. Source Palm Beach Police Affidavit 2006. The case reached the FBI, opening Operation Leap Year, focused on evidence of interstate sex trafficking. By 2007, the U.S. Attorney's Office for the Southern District of Florida negotiated a confidential non-prosecution agreement, or NPA. Under the deal, federal charges were shelved if Epstein pleaded guilty in state court to 2 prostitution-related counts. Source U.S. v. Epstein, NPA 2007. The agreement extended immunity to any unnamed co-conspirators. Later, a federal judge ruled that victims were not informed of this resolution, violating the Crime Victims' Rights Act. Source Doe 1 v. U.S. 11-8-1220-CIV-MARRA SDF Lay. In 2008, Epstein was convicted in Florida State Court of solicitation and procurement of a minor. Source State vs. Epstein, Palm Beach County. Case 2008 CF 3394. Sentenced to 18 months, he served approximately 13 months with a daily work-release privilege that allowed departures from jail. Source Palm Beach Sheriff's Office Records 2008. Such a concession was unusual for offenders of that category. At the time, investigators cataloged materials ranging from financial ledgers to photographs. Source FBI Inventory 2006. But the federal inquiry was effectively sealed by the NPA. Public reactions simmered until 2018, when the Miami Herald published its series, Perversion of Justice, documenting how the earlier deal had limited prosecution and shielded accomplices. Source Miami Herald, November 28, 2018. The exposé prompted congressional calls for review and renewed focus on victims' accounts. The Justice Department's Office of Professional Responsibility later issued a report acknowledging irregularities in how prosecutors handled the plea. Source: DOJOPR Report 2020. On July 6, 2019, federal agents arrested Epstein at Teterboro Airport, New Jersey. Source: U.S. vs. Epstein, 19 CR 490 SDNY indictment. Prosecutors in the Southern District of New York charged him with sex trafficking of minors and conspiracy. Source: SDNY indictment paragraphs 1 to 3. The indictment alleged that between 2002 and 2005, Epstein and others enticed and recruited young women, some as young as 14, to engage in commercial sexual acts in Manhattan and Palm Beach. Source: SDNY indictment paragraphs 10 to 11. These were allegations. Epstein pleaded not guilty. Investigators reported that during a search of his Manhattan townhouse, they recovered hundreds of labeled photo CDs, cash payments, and other digital files. Source: SDNY, press release, July 8, 2019, FBI inventory, 2019. The prosecution argued that the materials supported a decades-long pattern. His lawyers described him as a target of exaggerated claims. At a detention hearing on July 18, 2019, Judge Richard Berman denied bail, citing risk of flight and potential danger to the community. Source: hearing transcript, July 18, 2019. Epstein remained at Manhattan's Metropolitan Correctional Center awaiting trial. 1 month later, on August 10, 2019, he was found unresponsive in his cell. Source: Federal Bureau of Prisons statement, August 10, 2019. The New York City Medical Examiner's Office ruled the cause of death as suicide by hanging. Source: NYCME report, August 16, 2019. The ruling sparked widespread speculation and official review. The Bureau of Prisons conceded serious procedural failures, including guards who fell asleep or falsified observation logs. Both officers later admitted to federal record-keeping charges. Source: U.S. vs. Noel and Thomas, SDNY 19, CR 950. The Department of Justice's Office of Inspector General concluded that systemic negligence, not conspiracy, led to the security failures. Source: DOJOIG, Report 2023. Epstein's death ended the criminal case but opened civil litigation against his estate. In 2020, an independently administered victims' compensation program distributed over $120 million in payments to recognized claimants. Source: Epstein VCP Final Report 2021. More than 135 individuals participated, their identities largely confidential. In December 2021, his longtime associate Ghislaine Maxwell was convicted in the Southern District of New York of sex trafficking and related charges. Source: U.S. vs. Maxwell, 20, CR 330, SDNY. The verdict affirmed aspects of the same factual pattern alleged against Epstein. While that conviction yielded accountability for some, many civil cases concerning other potential defendants remain active as of 2024. Jeffrey Epstein's life concluded in custody, but the paper trail remains one of the most examined collections of financial, legal, and institutional records in recent U.S. history. His case exposes long-standing gaps between privilege and accountability, raising enduring questions about oversight, prosecutorial discretion, and the protection of vulnerable individuals. This overview draws solely from publicly verifiable documents, court indictments, police reports, government reviews, and major media archives. All references appear below for transparency.